Limit this to something someone said, not something someone did. And if you're going to ramble around, not get to the point, go on and on, you won't make it.
And we always also urge you to make sure any political craps aren't necessarily purely for partisan reasons. So we will start with Kevin in Peoria. You're on Who You Crappin' on the Score.
Hello, boys. First time crap here.
Good luck with your first crap.
This crap goes out to Illini head football coach Tim Beckman, an intellect only rivaled by garden tools, who, when discussing his team's 44-19 loss to Washington on Saturday, explained that he breaks the season down into 4 quarters, and quarter 1 is now over. Beckman then said this: "A lot of teams aren't 2-1, and we are. We're happy to say that. Yeah, we can make definite strides in everything that we've got to do, but we've got 2 W's, but we've got 1 L. We're at least moving in the direction that we want to go. Now, we've got 3 more quarters, and if you, the media, can do the math, that's 8 wins. Well, Tim, let's see if you can do the math. Of the 68 teams that comprise the 5 major conferences and FBS independents, 53 of them had a record of at least 2-1 or better. That's 78%. So, Tim, oh maestro of the idiocy, next time you question if someone can do the math, stop. Find the closest mirror, stare at it, and then ask the question. While you are there, Tim Beckman, you can ask yourself, who are you crapping?"
Not a particularly good way to start.
Wow. Wow. The ratings board is out.
This is from Random Celebrity's Most Obvious Trait. And it goes out to Oklahoma Republican Party Chairman Dave Weston in defending a statement made by Representative John Bennett, in which Bennett said, "All Muslims want to kill all non-Muslims." Weston said the following: "If we as Americans were ruled by Islam, then Christians and Jews like you and I could only keep practicing our faith if we paid a protection tax. But if you're Christian or Jewish and don't immediately convert to Islam, they imminently decapitate you." Well, let's forget that the second sentence makes no sense by itself, or that the whole statement is asinine. That's not the reason. Dave, if you get decapitated for not immediately converting to Islam, how are you going to pay that protection tax? Dave Weston, who you crapping? Bob in Tinley Park, you're on the Score.
Hey, guys, this angry crap goes out to score something or other Lawrence Holmes, and through guilt by association, Dan and Terry. Last Wednesday, when helping Dan and Terry close out the show, Lawrence railed on almost gleefully about, and I'm paraphrasing, but what a liar Roger Goodell is and how little integrity he has and that he must go as commissioner. And I believe it was Dan who chimed in with a "what else has he lied about" to make the point. While I agree that all that criticism of Goodell is on target, the crap comes in when the conversation turned to possible replacements, and I was in shock and awe when Lawrence offered the name Condoleezza Rice. Now, I realize that Lawrence was not putting Rice out there as his idea, but to overlook the obvious and immediate craptitude here is inexcusable. I wonder if Condoleezza Rice was ever associated with any misrepresentation of the truth or manipulation of facts. I wonder what type of integrity she would bring to this job. What were those things called back in 2002 when she was National Security Advisor to good old W? Oh, yeah, Iraq's weapons of mass destruction. The dishonest, completely fabricated basis for launching an invasion and a full-scale war that cost thousands of American lives and billions, if not trillions, of taxpayer dollars. She's just what the NFL needs to clean up this mess. So to Lawrence, for investing so little thought, and to Dan and Terry, way to man those barricades, guys. Who are all 3 of you crapping?
Thanks, Bob. Here's one from Bo Ryan's White Basketball, and it is for Lou Alcindor, a.k.a. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who's the star of the new ads for Travel Wisconsin, filmed as a parody to the original parody Airplane. Kareem continues his role and urges those from across the country to visit America's Dairyland. Boating, fishing, biking, Jabbar says, "I can't believe I ever left this place." I have to admit, I'm not old enough to know that you were here in Milwaukee to begin with, so a quick Google search, and sure enough, your story checks out. Drafted by the Bucks in '69, played 6 seasons here in Milwaukee. That same search also sheds some light as to why you can't believe you ever left this place. Well, let me fill you in. You requested a trade from the Bucks because you and the city, quote, were not culturally compatible.
Correct, yeah.
Has the city won you over since the mid-'70s, and if so, why? It's still one of the most racially divided cities in the country, compounded with recent spurts of religious intolerance, such as the Sikh temple shooting in 2012. What's the overlying message of your ads? Hey, this state wasn't good enough for me, but it might just be good enough for you. Give it a shot. Lou Alcindor, Kareem, who you crappin'? Nicely done.
It is. Yeah.
Didn't think about that one.
That was good. Yeah.
Joe in Plainfield is on the score.
Hey, guys. This crap goes out to Bears defensive lineman Jared Allen. After Sunday night's huge win in San Francisco, Allen was asked what he thought of Kyle Fuller's performance. He responded, quote, "That guy is one of the main reasons why I came to Chicago." Well, maybe Jared was the one with the concussion and not Jeremiah Ratliff, because Allen signed with the Chicago Bears at the end of March, and Kyle Fuller wasn't drafted until the beginning of May. So Jared, sit in the dark room and get better. And let me ask you, who you crapping?
I'm just excited to be here. I really am.
Perfect. I like it. All right, a promising start.
Pretty good, and I'll say that on the other side of this, I've got an E-crap that might be one of my favorites ever.
We are in the midst of Who You Crappin' 312-644-6767. As always, when we get to the midpoint, we are looking for the big finish on our signature segment. Boers and Bernstein, come out and play. Chicago Sports Radio 670, The Score. And We Crappin' brought to you by Sport Clips, haircuts with 70 Chicagoland locations to serve you. Sport Clips, it's good to be a guy. All right, we're looking for the big finish. Boers and Bernstein, Chicago Sports Radio 670 The Score. It's up to you to give it to us.
And The Score's your home for Thursday Night Football on Westwood One all season long. Join Ian Eagle and Mike Mayock tonight at 7 p.m. as the Buccaneers take on the Falcons. Turn up the sound. Get your game on here. 670 The Score. You can also catch the Buccaneers and Falcons live on CBS 2 and NFL Network on Thursday Night Football. Here's Trash Can Man on Who You Crappin'.
Gentlemen, my life for you.
And with you.
This crap goes out to Fox Sports et al. After the video of Ray Rice was released, they had a reoccurring theme of the NFL not respecting women, even allowing one of their reporters, namely Katie Nolan, a monologue on how the NFL does not respect women. There's just one problem. Aren't you the same corporate entity that replaced Pam Oliver in favor of a younger, blonder woman? Dear Fox Sports et al., you need to ask yourself a couple of questions. Is respect only applicable to women who are under 40? And who are you crapping?
Nice. Nicely done.
That's good.
Tim in Peoria, welcome to The Score.
How are you?
Hello.
Well, good to hear that. This crap goes on.
Disingenuous. Don't make me come down to Peoria.
That's the way we are in Peoria. This crap goes out to Adrian.
Today, Junior!
Wait a minute here, Adrian. I'm not a child abuser. Brings to mind two questions. What the hell would you call what you did to your son, and who you crapping?
Thank you, sir. I mentioned there was one of my favorite E-craps that I've seen. This is from Wings.
Wings, okay.
Baseball defensive metrics are in their childhood at this point, and until they've been in the mainstream for a while, fans will collectively have to endure the debate between stat heads and eye test evaluators. On MLB Network, Greg Amsinger and Harold Reynolds watched Josh Donaldson throw away another ball for an error, which led to one of these discussions. You see, Josh Donaldson is the league leader in ultimate zone rating and defensive runs saved, two newfangled stats that may as well be alchemy and sorcery to a hard-nosed, old-school ball player like Harold Reynolds. Greg Amsinger noted that this effort could result in Josh Donaldson earning a Gold Glove this year, but he does lead the league in errors at third base. Enter Harold Reynolds. I like Josh Donaldson, all-star player. I think he's great, but I'm going to throw up if he wins the Gold Glove. He's got 21 errors, man. Please. You're leading the league in errors at your position, and you're saying he's going to win it over Beltre, over Longoria. I'll give it to Machado in his 60 games played before I give it to Josh Donaldson. Well, it seems to me that Harold is accepting errors as a stat, but ignoring UZR and DRS. Okay, that's fine. That's an opinion. But two problems. You call out Adrian Beltre as an obviously better defensive third baseman. Keep in mind, when Beltre won the Gold Glove in 2007, he led AL third baseman in errors. Now let's look at Gold Glove winners from 1988 to 1990. In 1988, this guy led American League second baseman in errors and won the Gold Glove. In 1989, this guy led American League second baseman in errors and won the Gold Glove. In 1990, this guy led American League second baseman in errors and won the Gold Glove. That guy, Harold Reynolds. Do errors matter or not? Harold Reynolds, who you crappin'? Boom.
That's it. Right there.
Yep. Jim in Glenview, you're on the score.
That's tough to follow. This is my first crap.
Good luck with your first crap.
This crap goes out to Shouty McShouterson himself, Dan Bernstein. During a Wednesday afternoon yelling match regarding corporal punishment, child abuse, and Adrian Peterson, caller Ed started to say that not everyone grew up on the North Shore, at which point in time, Dan interrupted him by repeatedly shouting, "It doesn't matter where you grew up." Dan then reminded us that all that matters are studies and data. Now, this would be fine except for the fact that earlier in the week, one of the data-filled studies that Dan was so overly impressed with had to do with how corporal punishment is much more prevalent in the South. Oh, Danny boy, I'd never say that caller Ed was right, but in this case it was you who made yourself wrong because in your reactionary disgust, you opted for hysterics over your data. So please stop doing this, because I derive only the smallest amount of joy in asking you, who are you crapping?
Who's the Raging Bull, Danny? Do you know?
Greg Luzinski.
You're right.
Uptown Dan says Bruce Rauner a few weeks ago was slamming Pat Quinn for trying to buy the African-American vote. Rauner went on to say he's been a friend to the African-American community, as witnessed by the checks he's written to organizations like Urban Equity Partners. Now, Bruce, when you write a check to someone in this great state of ours, it means that you're trying to gain said people's support so they can help you get what you want. In this case, your get is the governor's mansion. Maybe you weren't buying votes in the black community. Maybe you're just putting them on layaway so you could have them in reserve for a more advantageous time, say the general election for governor of Illinois. Either way, Bruce Rauner, who you crapping? Alex is in Tinley Park. He's on the score.
Hey, guys, this is my first crap.
Good luck with your first crap.
All right, this crap goes out to Leonard Ellerby, CEO Mayweather Promotions. On September 10th, during the Maidana versus Mayweather press conference, Leonard Ellerby said, Floyd has made several hundred millions of dollars, but money doesn't motivate him. In a prior fight, Floyd said, and I quote, "I am in the check-cashing business. Unless he's cashing fake checks, money is definitely a motivator. Plus, his nickname is Money Mayweather. His promotion name, Money Team. Am I crazy? A little bit, maybe. But, Leonard, next time you say money doesn't motivate Floyd, look at the Money Team website where he sells merchandise that contains text like money and using dollar signs as S's. Leonard Ellerby, you getting paid right? Please ask yourself, am I blind? Maybe you should take off your sunglasses when you're indoors. And who are you crapping?
Thanks, Alex.
It's good, though.
Yeah, it is.
Good, yeah.
Parker says on their corporate website, Urban Outfitters describes their unique connection to their customers. In their company profile, they state, our goal is to offer a product assortment and an environment so compelling and distinctive that the customer feels an empathetic connection to the brand and is persuaded to buy. Well, last week, Urban Outfitters demonstrated their empathy when they offered a red-stained Kent State sweatshirt for sale on their website. For the history and empathy impaired, Kent State was the site of 4 student deaths in an anti-war protest in 1970. When conscious Americans recognized the disgusting insensitivity of the item, Urban Outfitters released an apology. CEO Dick Hayne also released an internal email to his employees explaining the unconscious faux pas, which in part read, the condition of the Kent State sweatshirt pictured is as we bought it, there is no blood on it, and we certainly never promoted it as such. The discoloration that some mistook for blood is from natural fading and bleaching. Dick, who you crapping?
Yeah, I think I know that one.
Let's check the manometer.
Oh, the manometer is ready to burst, and I did a little traveling to a place I'd never been before, so you won't get this.
Manila?
I had never been to Manila. Mankato.
Noah in Elgin will close out who you crapping on the score.
Last month, while filming a music video in California, Lady Gaga took a break to make a PSA about water conservation. In an interview shortly after, she stated, while I was there, I learned about the necessity of water conservation during this drought. Do your part to help save water.
Well, milady, while I applaud you for calling others to do their part in conserving water, I question if you're willing to do the same, since during the shooting of your music video at California's historic Hearst Castle, you used over 350,000 gallons of perfectly good water to fill the famous Neptune pool. Also, since you chose to chlorinate the water, it became unsuitable for reuse in irrigation and was left to simply evaporate into the arid California atmosphere. Lady Gaga, next time you release a PSA, double-check to make sure you didn't just videotape yourself doing exactly what you're telling others not to do, and ask yourself who you crapping.
You make us wonder with
hey,
the
buddy! It's a first for old Lady Gaga.
Yeah, buddy.
I don't think that Lady Gaga one, but that's it.
Hey, buddy. Who you crapping?